Hey guys, welcome to Dreamhouse Nightmare. I'm Adam, and today we're going to be taking a look at the gay adult film, Gayracula. This was made in 1983. It is directed by Roger Earl, and it was written by Laurie Lee and Dorothy Shaw, and produced by Terry LeGrand, who also had a special thanks in Creepazoids. So, some pretty interesting connections on there. And the stars were Tim Kramer and Steve Collins. And I do have to say that I really enjoyed Tim Kramer's performance in this. He was very statuesque, very interesting to just look at in this film. He is a very, very beautiful man. But unfortunately, he did pass away in 1992. So I was kind of trying to find like a better summary of what the film was about to read. I did find one on here that seemed a little bit more in line with the story. It says, Count Drag is back, and this time he's sucking more than just necks. Gayracula stalks the streets of LA for the hunkiest victims to ever succumb to his lust. Now, he does do that, but there is a reason that he is in the streets of LA. So the film kind of starts out in like a pivotal moment in the story to really introduce you to who is the Dracula, the vampire here. And Tim Kramer, he is Gaylord Young, and we see that there is these men dressed in cloaks. They have a coffin, and this looks like it's like several hundreds of years ago, but apparently it's only 200 years ago. And basically they are taking this coffin into a cave, and they open it up, and they want to take the stake and drive it through his heart to kill him. But he wakes up, and he scares one of the guys who was holding the stake, and he basically turns into a bat, flies out of that cave, and then he he goes up on a rock and appears as human again, and he's got his cloak around him, and surprise, when he opens up his cape, he is fully naked and bearing it all. And I do have to say, like, he has a very statuesque body. I mean, it's done really well. And then from there, we then flip to how he became a vampire in the first place. So it was interesting. Like the whole opening, I thought that this was going to be more of like a more. I expected more low budget. I mean, it is low budget, but I expected it to be like more seedy, more trying to make like some of the scenes look like they were just kind of thrown together. That's what I was expecting, and it wasn't that. So I have to praise them for that.
The following is a feature presentation from HIS Video.
So we get a little bit more of the story, and it goes a little bit more back in time before Gaylord Young was a vampire, and we're able to kind of get that backstory on how he turned into a vampire. So he went to the castle of Marquis de Suede, who is basically the count of that castle, and he is seduced by Marquis de Suede, and during an X scene, he is bitten on the neck, and he is transformed into a creature of the night, and he is very upset about this. So he did not want to be a vampire, and that is where the plot of this film really comes in at, and he wants to seek revenge and wants to kill the Marquis de Sade. And so from there, we see Gaylord Young grab a candelabra, and he smashes it into the mirror, and he is very, very upset and is now out to seek revenge. But all in all, I do have to say that even though the scenes are low budget, and even though, you know, it is a gay adult film, I do have to give them props that they really made this really atmospheric. They made it look really well. The actors are very handsome and very good looking. The X scenes in this are extremely erotic, and you can tell that the actors were really into it. I don't see that as often sometimes, and in this film it was very present. So I do have to give props where props need to be given, and so I definitely have to say that is the setup of this film, and I think that they did a really good job.
It began when I was 21, 200 years ago. The night I went to see the Marquis de Suede. I was a courier for the law firm of Crutchley, Bloomfield, and Smythe. I had been dispatched to Transylvania to deliver to the Marquis a precious family heirloom that had been left him by his strange Aunt Bella.
Good evening. I've been expecting you. Please come in.
I was received most cordially by the Marquis, but I found his reaction to his inheritance a bit odd.
Don't you like it? But I have no place for it. What is your name?
Gaylord Young, but I must return immediately.
I insist that you stay. You need to be refreshed. You have done me a great service. Now I must service you.
I came to in the middle of the night. I felt strange, confused. The Marquis was gone, and so was I. All that I had ever been was gone.
Do not be frightened. I could have let you die, but instead I chose to give you eternal life.
So from there, we have about 200 years later, and the Gaylord is able to track down the Marquis de Suede, excuse me, it's Suede, not de Sade. He is able to find the Marquis in LA in the gay clubs and the gay scene there, so he travels there to hunt him down. And he has a handyman named Boris who is also another very handsome man, and that he is played by Rand Remington. And basically, they move the coffin to this, it looks like a mansion there in LA. And the handyman that they get to help them hooks up with Boris, and basically the Gaylord wakes up from the coffin and comes out of the coffin and feeds on the handyman after having a gigantic X scene. From there, we are able to establish a little bit more of the story that why he is in LA. So that's how I think that they did like a really good job setting it up and not making it too outrageously campy. I mean, you are making like a gay vampire Dracula type film, and I think that it definitely kept the tone of being atmospheric yet gothic and also erotic at the same time. And it really doesn't have that campiness to it that I was expecting from this film. So yeah, I really do like the setup, and I think that all the actors definitely played it well. Tim Kramer is he's a perfect Dracula. I mean, his face is so chiseled and so amazingly structured that it's like he was perfect for Gaylord. So from there, we do see them go to a club after things.
The Marquis spoke the truth. For 200 years I have traveled the earth by night, knowing the exhilaration of eternal power and the misery of eternal solitude. I never saw the Marquis again. Then, towards the end of the 20th century, a manservant of mine found the Marquis de Suede working in Los Angeles. I was determined to get my revenge on the Marquis, so I traveled to Los Angeles. I traveled inelegantly, but effectively. My ride from the airport was marred only by the clumsiness of the fool my manservant Boris hired to escort me.
What'd you put in this thing anyway? Damn, I think I strained my back.
No, let me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So just cut that out. You're gonna set the house on fire.
I can handle it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. Looks like we got some company.
Yeah, but I don't like sloppy seconds.
I drank my fill that night. Even the blood of a fool will do in a pinch. I would be strong enough to deal with the Marquis.
So the Gaylord goes to one of the Marquis clubs, and there is lots of men. There is a lot of different performances that take place on the stage, and I don't think like right off the bat that the Marquis realized who Gaylord was, and because I mean this has been like 200 years later, and he is introduced to a performance on stage by a go-go dancer who is in like a leather sequin outfit with some very unique stage design with like the shimmery tassel in the back, and or tinsel. It's like the shimmery tinsel backdrop that they have. So I mean, like, I think that this is for people who probably lived in that era, that this is definitely going to remind people of some of the clubs in LA, some of the performances that they used to have, and it's definitely reminiscent of the queer culture of that time. And I think that people who were alive during that time who may watch this film, I think that they would definitely feel nostalgia from that. It definitely feels dated in a way, but also it does not take away from the story at all. The Marquis, though, does invite Gaylord to go to the back rooms to enjoy himself while they do set up for another performance. The performance, though, itself is that they have on the stage is very interesting. It is very erotic, but also it's, you know, it's definitely stripping, and it's definitely got some S&M mixed in with it. But you can just tell that everybody who was in this film was really much into their role.
And my work would begin that very night, when I attended the rehearsal of a show the Marquis was staging at a nightclub. The rehearsal had already started when the Marquis greeted me.
Excuse me, sir, there's someone here to see you. No, please, show them in.
Well, so you're back in show business.
Yes, Hollywood beckoned and I had to answer the call. Randy, get the gentleman a chair, and I'll have Davin show you his stuff. Hit the music.
Randy.
Oh, he's one of the waiters here. Why, sort of like that stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty decent.
Listen, I really want you to see the next act, and while we're setting up, you might want to check out the back room.
Think I will.
Yeah, you're gonna like it. Ray, we about ready?
So the Gaylord comes from the back rooms back to watch the next performance that the Marquis has set up, and from there we see that he is enjoying himself. There are 3 performers in masquerade mask on stage, and they are all linking up, if you get what I mean, and he enjoys himself. But then he winds up going to the backstage with performers, and he feeds on one of the men, and that's where he just vanishes in thin air back to, I guess, his house. But it's really interesting. It's highly erotic. Everybody in the scene is like really into it, and it is a very unforgettable. I probably will never forget the performance. It was pretty interesting to see it.
Gaylord, I knew my powers would bring us back together. We must celebrate our union tonight. Take a chair. Enjoy the show.
So after Gaylord comes from the back rooms back to see the next performance, we have 3 new performers, and they are wearing like the masquerade type mask like Mardi Gras would have, and they are on stage. There's 3 performers, and they are basically connecting, if you know what I mean, on the stage. And Gaylord just enjoys himself, and by the end of the performance, we see that he is still trying to get close to Marquis, and trying to seduce him back to his place where he lives, so he can get revenge on the Marquis.
I invited the Marquis to come home with me. I knew I could distract him from his real purpose with some sport fucking.
Gaylord.
You condemn me to eternal pain.
No, you must be insane. You can't kill me.
If I can't be free, at least I can enjoy destroying you.
You can be freed. There is a way. I can release you.
Why should I believe you?
You have no other choice.
Convince me.
There is a ceremony I can perform. It requires finding a young man whose virginity you have taken. He loves you, and you must return his love. But you must make love to him without drinking his blood.
And then?
Bring me such a man, and I will release you from your agony.
I gave him a bed for the night to make sure he didn't get away from me. I knew he would try to escape by using his mental powers. But there are protections against the mind skills of our race, and Boris made sure the Marquis couldn't escape.
So pretty much the next performance is that there are 3 performers on stage, and the Gaylord comes back from the back rooms of the club and sits and enjoys himself with the Marquis de Suede to watch 3 people connect on stage in the masquerade top mask, they're like the Mardi Gras mask, if you know what I mean. It is really such an interesting performance. But nevertheless, it wasn't boring, and it was definitely unique, I think, especially to capture it on film.
I remembered the waiter's beauty. He was perfect. He was young, male, a virgin. I had to bring him to me, to draw him with the power of my mind.
Where am I? Don't worry, you're with me. I won't hurt you. Relax. That's it.
If this was love. I'd never been in love, so I didn't know for sure.
So for the next scene, we have the Gaylord is really thirsty. He doesn't have time to stalk a victim. So he goes to a blood bank, which I think this is probably like one of the most interesting scenes. I would have probably had like a little bit more fun with it and made it a little bit more bloody, and also just really had fun with this scene because he goes to the blood bank and he just goes in and he grabs one of the people who's hooked up giving blood. He grabs their bag and just starts drinking it, and then he drinks it, but then he goes behind one of the curtains that's at the blood bank, and there's 2 guys linking up, and he partakes in linking up with them. So it was kind of interesting, an interesting scene. I do feel like I would have elaborated a little bit more on the scene, and kind of made it just a tiny bit more coherent, a little bit more fun, and I probably would have added a little bit more blood, just because, like, this is a blood bank. I mean, I would have felt like he would have just had a frenzy in there, but he was really thirsty, and it only shows him actually drink, like, 1 bag of blood. So that's my only critique with the scene. I think it could have been better, and I think it could have been more fun, and a little bit bloodier, and probably add just a little bit more comedy, because we don't really have a lot of comedy in this film, and I was expecting it to be a comedy. I didn't expect it to be so serious. So it's highly erotic, but a little bit of comedy I think would have went a long way with this scene personally, and you wouldn't have really have had to have it anywhere else. And even if you didn't want to add comedy, you could have still added like a little bit more blood. You could have added a little bit more going ham on the blood bags. But, you know, This was made in 1983, and I guess they did what they could do, and it is a pretty interesting scene. So that's my only critique of this scene.
Roll off your sleeve.
I was in great pain. I was thirsty. And I didn't have time to stalk a victim.
Don't touch that. You're contaminated. Wait right here. Sir, come back.
Unfucking-leavable!
Feel like having some fun?
So from there, we have that the Marquis has told Gaylord that he needs to invite everyone over to a dinner party, and they are going to perform the ritual that night. From here, the film gets a little interesting. They have dinner, and his boyfriend, the one that he's in love with, does not really know what's going on, and he's asking questions, and he's like, no, just don't ask questions, it's all good, you know. And pretty much, the Marquis has lied to Gaylord. Like, he is not going to break the curse. He's not going to do that. Instead, he actually wants him to turn the man that he's in love with into a creature of the night as well, which clearly is not going to go well with Gaylord. So, you know, from there we have, like, this massive scene of one giant link up between everybody. And the scene is actually set after the dinner party to look ritualistic. It looks kind of like witchcraft. I really don't know how to explain it. It's just very ritualistic looking, but it is a very erotic scene, and I definitely have to give props where props is need to be given. You don't see stuff like this anymore. I've seen this in some like older films, especially like the queer cinema. I've seen some of it in like the straight cinema, but yeah, it was interesting. It was very steamy, and his boyfriend the whole time was just like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And Gaylord's like, "Just hush, like everything's okay." So that is, again, it's a very X-rated scene, but I do think that people would really appreciate what they did with this scene.
The Marquis de Suede instructed me to gather a dinner party to perform the ceremony. The Marquis promised that by dawn I would be a free man. I was so much in love with Randy, I ached to believe the Marquis.
You survived very well.
I'm glad you're pleased.
I'm impressed. We're a vanishing breed. A vanishing and lonely breed.
Not all of us. At least not forever.
No, not forever. I can see you've chosen your candidate well.
What's he talking about?
Never mind.
What's for dessert? Blood pudding?
Gentlemen, the ceremony is about to begin. Follow me.
Then from the last scene that we really have in the film is the Marquis did not change Gaylord back to human again, and he basically was lying the whole time, and he basically wants the Gaylord to turn the man that he's in love with to a creature of the night, and that way they can travel and have fun together. But Gaylord is not having it, and so he stands up in the middle of all the debauchery that's taken place, and we have the Boris holding the Marquis, and Gaylord takes a stake and drives it through the Marquis's heart. And from there, we also have the boyfriend to Gaylord and Gaylord. They go outside, they get in the pool, and they're swimming together, they're like kissing, they're making out, and he tells his boyfriend, he's like, well, I will die when sunlight hits me. And pretty much the sun comes out and he doesn't die, and the spell was broken because he killed the Marquis.
You double-crossed me, and now I'm going to kill you.
Wait, Gaylord! I'm giving you the solution to your loneliness. Make him one of us!
Never. Don't be a fool. The two of you can spend eternity together. You can be free of your solitude. The three of us, we can travel together. Just think of it.
Eternal power, eternal glory.
But you promised me my freedom.
We have our freedom. We can live forever.
The Marquis told me that falling in love would set me free.
And perhaps it will.
No, the sun is rising. When the direct rays of the sun hit me, I will die, but I will have loved you.
Look, the sun's coming out, and you're still here. You see, love does conquer all.
I'm saved.
So what are you gonna do now?
I think I'll work on my tan line.
So, all in all, I do think it was a good film. I think that it's fun. It's definitely got a vintage, nostalgic style to it. The actors, I think, were really perfect in this. They all were very handsome, very good looking. The X-rated scenes are highly, highly erotic, and everybody was very much into what they were doing, which, sometimes you can tell if somebody's not comfortable. So, like, either it was really good acting or they really, really liked it. I think that the story was there, but the story is thin. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more on elaborate with the story a little bit more. But I mean, this is still this is vintage adult cinema from 1983. So all in all, I definitely would say for me that this film, I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10. It's a pretty 7 out of 10 for me is the standard. If I like a film but it's got some issues, then I like it enough to get it over the 5 mark and not right at the 10 mark. But it's fun, it's exciting. There's definitely some unique performances in the film. The X scenes, to me, I was writing notes about the film as I was watching it, and I said that the X scenes were almost distracting to the story because I was forgetting what was happening just because the X scenes were extremely elaborate in this film. But I definitely have to say that this is probably a classic. This is something that I would like to see Vinegar Syndrome actually touch and maybe completely remaster this, because I would definitely pick this up. And the reason is that I would say Vinegar Syndrome Melusine. Vinegar Syndrome has actually done remastered a lot of gay cinema, especially if you go to I want to say it's Gay Empire or Adult Empire. You can search their adult films and you can purchase the stream, but a lot of them actually have Vinegar Syndrome written on them. So even though Vinegar Syndrome has not released them as a physical release, I have seen that they have remastered a lot of stuff as well. So this is one that I would really like to see get a physical Blu-ray release. Unfortunately, I think most of the cast is no longer with us, especially for during the times with the AIDS crisis going on. This is pre-condom films, before people really taking steps to be safe in this type of industry. And unfortunately, our lead, he did pass away from HIV back in 1992. But you can definitely, like, you know, if somebody's not taking the safe practices that they needed to, especially on films like these, like this was all you could think of. Like everything was being done, and I could see how it spread so quickly back in the day, especially like if you had like the leather clubs and things like that, which I think that they really did explore a little bit with some of the club scenes in this and the types of performances that was going on and the things that people were doing back then. Which, you know, no judgment. It's just like, you really got to be careful. And unfortunately, that was a time that it was peaking, and a lot of people lost their lives due to unprotected sex. Especially, I feel like a lot of the gay actors that I have looked up, like especially from like the Wakefield Pool films and things like that, a lot of them passed away from HIV. And yeah, so it's unfortunate because I would really, really like to see what the lead was up to today. Like his name was Tim. Excuse me. It was Tim Kramer. Excuse me. I would like to see more films with Tim Kramer in it. I think he just had like a really, really handsome look. I think he was a really good actor. I think that he was almost kind of hypnotic the way that he looked and performed. Very talented. Very sad what happened to him, but this is a very good movie, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who likes gay adult cinema, gay cinema in general. And yeah, so 7 out of 10 for this one, and I hope that everyone enjoyed this this review. It was something different that I wanted to try to do and for the channel, because the other reviews have been very successful, getting views, and people have been checking them out. So I wanted to see what a gay film would perform on the channel, especially with this audience, and maybe help reach a newer audience as well. So I will be doing more reviews like this as well, but I'll still be doing like the straight adult cinema as well. I think that there is so much that you can take from adult cinema. Because a lot of, like, especially like if you look at like low budget adult films, like specifically this one, and you look at like the set design and you see how they were able to pull some things off, you can learn a lot from it. It's not just the gratification of getting off to a film like this, it's seeing how it was made, seeing what they were doing. Like, you know, that's what I look at when I look at films. Like I look at like several adult films that I have reviewed. There's one in particular I had recently gotten. It was called, I haven't reviewed it yet, but I have started to watch them. It's The Pink Babylon, and some of the cinematography in that film is just incredible. The editing is incredible, the writing is incredible, but it is adult film, and it takes place in like autumn going into winter in New York, so like the settings very unique. So I think that there's just a lot that you can take away from some of these films if you're a filmmaker and you are looking for like atmosphere and how to do atmosphere, you know, different ideas to explore. I think adult films are not just a X out. I think that for filmmakers who are getting into film, I think that you could really study these films. And because if you just had a film that you were selling for just sex, right? Like if you were just selling sex in your film, how do you make it good? How do you make it stand out? Well, you got to have good cinematography, you've got to have good actors, you've got to have a good set design, you've got to do something unique for it to really stand out. And pretty much every film that I've ever reviewed that is X-rated, that is on Cinema After Dark, every film has done that in a way. Especially, like, I would have to say Bimbo Cheerleaders from Outer Space. It's probably one of the cheapest one that I've ever seen, but still very unique and very different, and it really really, really did something different and unique with its sets by having them all paper. Like, you need to walk through the door, well, you take that Sharpie, you draw a door, and you bust right through it. That is how that film was made. And it's so really like anything. It was kind of like Dogville. If you all remember Dogville with Nicole Kidman, like way back in the day, that is what that film reminds me of. Bimbo Cheerleaders from Outer Space reminds me of Dogville, which is a Lars von Trier film. And I would not be surprised. I'm not saying that he did, but I was just saying I wouldn't be surprised if Lars von Trier didn't see Bimbo Cheerleaders from Outer Space in order to make that film, because it truly reminisced that film, even if he didn't know it. So, very interesting, very interesting. This one, very, very fun. So, have you all seen Gayracula? Did you like Gayracula? Do you like the reviews like this? If so, please like and subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. Share this video if possible to help me get my channel out there. It definitely helps small-time creators like me get put in the algorithm for more people to see this type of content. And thank you all for stopping by Dreamhouse Nightmare.